Stefan, you are there, so I guess that you will replace Jonathan, but you know well the product, so I'm sure that you could give a... So let's try to finish, and thanks to Benoit Mayolini from iHub to come, because I would like also to talk, and with Treasury Spring we talk about technology, and technology is quite an important factor, because we try to simplify our life. We mentioned several times KYC, we mentioned connectivity, banks, etc. So maybe let's start with you, Benoit, but could you give us just a rapid overview of what is iHub, KYC, and what are the benefits? And it's a rather innovative solution, although KYC remains a difficult issue. And if you compare to other countries, they are not that advanced in terms of KYC solutions. So tell us about iHub.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Benoit Mayolini. I'm in charge of sales and relationship management for iHub. And yes, we are iHub. We are the KYC outsourcing solutions that is specialized in digital customer due diligence review. The purpose of iHub and the idea of iHub is to provide and offer an alternative to in-house KYC CDD management through an outsourcing service managed solution. So it is a purely BPO model that is proposed, and for which we accelerate the compliance to regulatory obligations and the KYC CDD process digitalization. iHub has been created by a group of banks. So it is a group Post, BGL, BNP Paribas, Sporkes, Banque de Luxembourg, and BIL, Banque Internationale de Luxembourg. The purpose of this creation has been to address the KYC CDD workload. So it is 43 million of investments over 7 years, so it is quite huge. It is a centralized repository that is interconnected with trade registers in Europe, and as well beneficial owner registers. And the purpose, the mission of iHub is all about mutualization. Mutualization of KYC data and documents.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe show you us the slides?
That's yours. Okay.
Just
yes. So iHub is live since 2019. We have 95 people that are supporting our clients, and we are managing 1 million identities. We are regulated by the CSSF, so we are acting as a support PFS, professionnel du secteur financier de support. For supporting our business model, we are using a data center tier 4 for assuring our clients that we have the best-in-class security level in order to manage the data and documents of the clients. That's what we do, and as well, again, on the security aspects, we have two international ISO certifications. So the ISO 27001 for IT security management, and the ISO 22301 for business continuity management. So how it works? It is quite simple. So it is few figures as well. Today we are managing 1 million of identities, more than 1 million. Most of them are natural persons. But iHub is a Luxembourgish company, but we are able as well to support any financial institution, asset managers at a worldwide level. So it is really important to have this in mind, because we have some asset managers for which we are doing the onboarding and the periodic reviews of clients that are located in South America or Asia, so we have not limited by any jurisdictions. So you see the monthly updates that we are performing with our back office team is quite huge, 70,000 updates per month. It is huge. So we have a huge back office, we have automated processes, and we have a know-how on the KYC. So all our experts are coming from the Luxembourgish place. So they are highly qualified, and they can support every financial institution for doing onboarding and periodic reviews. So how it works? It works how you as asset managers can carry out onboarding and due diligence reviews with your investors. It is quite simple. It is the starting point is from the IHUB digital portal that is put at the disposal of your investors. So it can be an iframe that can be integrated into your investor portal, let's say, and for which you will bring your investors, for which they can upload directly their data and documents that you need. So it means that you can define your own document matrix, and the investors can upload the associated document that you are requesting. The next point is that you start benefiting as well from an outsourcing validation by our back office teams on the periodic reviews, on the onboardings, and as well you can have à la carte the name screening service and the risk scoring calculations. So it means that you can integrate your risk-based approach into our platforms in order to monitor your investors specifically based on your approach and depending each jurisdiction for which you are involved. The last point that you can give to your investor, or at least the next move, is that you can emphasize the fact that they give a consent for giving the mutualization. So it means that all the KYC data and document that are on the IHUB platform can be shared with their other business relationship. So it means that you will accelerate your you will speed up the onboarding times or the CDD reviews because you will obtain some data and documents that are validated already by IHUB and for which it arrives directly into your KYC files. So that's what we do. So in short, for asset managers, you can apply your own document matrix, you can apply your own risk-based approach, and you have a dedicated access with our web app for which you can interact between the asset managers teams and ours in order to discuss some specific topics on dedicated KYC files. So we have the automated processes for validations. It is a real-time and dynamic solution for which each new information that is captured by our by our platform can trigger some additional investigations or some additional documentations based on the risk level that is identified. So that's what IHUB do. In terms of next step, today in 2024, KYC remains a problem for the onboarding, for the periodic reviews. So the key are the outsourcing and the mutualizations. So without those two components, it is complicated to give a solution to this topic of KYC. We are, as François mentioned, we are innovative. We are innovative because combining the outsourcing and the mutualizations, it is the only initiative that is in place in Europe, from my knowledge. As I explained, 43 million euros of investment, it is huge for a KYC utility. But it is the raison d'être of IHUB, and that's the reason why we try to be a key player in Luxembourg for federating all financial institutions around this central repository and KYC utility. In terms of next step, obviously, we have this data model, this business model for which we are serving financial institutions. So it can be banks. It is the start of IHUB. It is retail banks that have created IHUB. But today, we are able to serve any financial players, segments asset management, life insurance, any corporates. And that's the reason why we have developed a new service offering for which our thinking is that now we would like to support corporates or investors for which they can pay directly a CDD service, and for which it is converted around the idea of the KYC passport, for which corporate can have a due diligence report with all the associated documentation that has been verified by based on a specific service level agreement, and for which, let's say that the corporates need to open an account in Asia because they are subsidiaries, they have already a pack of due diligence that is certified, let's say, yes, certified by a hub with the high up seals in order to speed up the process of opening an account. That's the idea around this new offering. And as well, we are working, because that is the ESG time, we are working as well on the ESG data platform utility that will emphasize the interconnections between banks and corporates for speeding up the onboarding and the financing for corporates, because banks now, and I would say financial institutions now, request more ESG criteria in their funding decisions. And through the association of a questionnaire on a green asset ratio, on a benchmark, on sectorial benchmarking for ESG, we are able to orient it and to do the transitioning for the ESG and the ESG funding. So that's what we do, and that's the purpose and the raison d'être of IHEB.
No, it's very interesting because we have a quite specific, let's say, ecosystem in Luxembourg, and it's good to see that because, again, we don't have a lot of, let's say, successful example of KYC solution, although we always complain about KYC, but it's good because it could certainly ease the onboarding, not only for corporates, because it's an issue for corporates, but also for alternative funds, family offices, and other industries in Luxembourg. And I guess it will be interoperable with other platforms in the future. So,
exactly.
So thanks a lot, because I know it's difficult in a couple of minutes to summarize but again, and having tested the product and depending on your bank, but maybe you've seen the solution, it's quite interesting and it simplifies your life, and you can also upload and go and search the information and update the information automatically, let's say easing the workload for the corporate treasurers.
Yes, and it depends about the organization, because we can serve big organizations, smaller organizations. We have the API connectivities that speed up the consumptions of data and document as well. So again, if I take this example, as we are connected with trade registers, in a matter of minutes, we are able to extract all the documentation that are on trade registers, to extract all the metadata in order to reflect the full ecosystem of the legal entities. And in the meantime, in less than 3 minutes, we have performed a risk scoring, a name screening, and obviously, if we have a hit, it goes directly to our compliance team for investigations. But in 3 minutes, you have already a good overview of your clients.
No, thanks a lot. So, Stefan, hard work for you. It's the last one. So, just give us an overview on new products and new solutions, because we know that bank connectivity is also an important issue, and certainly the way to simplify our day-to-day work.
Yes, so basically, I'll figure that I'll give you a couple of use cases on how we at Finologee try to address some of the pain points that our clients experience in terms of KYC process, in terms of digitalization of those processes. So what we noticed is that obviously, I mean, those problems might be familiar to a lot of you, but we observed a lot of inefficient manual processes still taking place within the companies, so still relying basically on Excel files to track the status of various clients, on top of which the clients that you asset managers have to manage are quite different than the retail industry in the sense that those are complex structures, multiple SPVs, multiple structures, the multiple hierarchies within these structures, so quite difficult entities to manage. And on top, there's also the difficult interaction sometimes between fund managers, investors, and client, because it's not a straightforward relationship such as within the retail industry, but reaching out, simply the fact of reaching out towards the investor, the client, to ask data from him, to update potentially his data, is sometimes a quite heavy and cumbersome process, which in turn then translate to basically having outdated data, sometimes no data, and basically a lack of general quality within the data that you have. And on top of which, you can also add then sometimes company-specific procedures and workflow who can tend to add an additional layer of complexity on those processes. So what we did at Finologee is we came up with a kind of solution, so-called KYC Manager. It's a modular solution which could be summarized into 3 main functionalities. So it's an assisted onboarding tool, so it really assists the clients throughout the whole onboarding process to begin with. It's a data update management tool. So really in the case where data is outdated, it generates an outreach toward end investors and clients to ask them for the data which might be updated to basically perform a remediation campaign. And then finally, it's a lifecycle management and ongoing monitoring tool in the sense that once the client has been onboarded, when it has been remediated, to ensure that the whole activities related to the life cycle management and the risks and the checks that you need to perform on these clients are being performed. And this all being done within a single entry tool. Similarly to IAP, we are also hosted here in Luxembourg and also work on a PSF umbrella. And the solution basically works as from a modular standpoint and a modular approach. So basically our clients pick and choose the modules that they are interested in: identification and validation, AML, PEP screening, risk scoring, UBO identification. So they pick and choose what they actually wish to perform. Some clients only go for the screening, some do the whole onboarding. And in that sense, they pick and choose what they want to do. And to then proceed with these various modules, we then also leverage third-party providers. So for instance, in the case of AML, PEP, and sanction list screening, we will be leveraging the contracts of our clients, such as Refinitiv, Dow Jones, that they are already working with. They do not have to start working with other providers in that sense. They can reuse their existing contracts. Same rationale for e-signatures, same rationale for data providers, Dun & Bradstreet, Graydon, in which we're going to go fetch data about the corporate and the companies. And that's basically the way the solution approach and works. Now, how does this now translate into use cases that we have had in the past with our various clients? So to give you a couple of ideas, for the context, for instance, of life insurance, we have been working here in Luxembourg with 5 life insurers, mainly in the context of client update management campaigns, so really updating the outdated data. In the terms of fund services, we have been working with them on assisted onboarding. So really, some companies have been redigitalizing the entire onboarding process from scratch. But not only, also, for instance, the fund subscription flow. So really performing the whole KYC on the client on one hand, and then enabling the client to digitally subscribe into a fund within the solution, obviously on the white labeled approach. And then on top of that, for asset managers in general, we also have then, as said, the ongoing screening, the automated risk scoring. The idea be really to have a complete flow where the client is onboarding, data collected, the risk scoring takes place, the screening takes place, and based on the outcome of those screenings and the various elements that the clients have in place, a risk score is being calculated in order to really enable our clients to basically focus on the main clients and investors that do actually require certain attention, and not having to focus on the redundant tasks, which are in most cases the most consuming one. And then in terms of innovation, we have our second platform, which is called Finologee Links. Here it's a different topic. It's mainly focused on the payment side. It's basically an account information and aggregation solution, enabling our clients to have all their bank accounts within a single entry tool, which has also a payment workflow manager that tracks the entire payment workflow. And the reason I'm getting to this is that on top has the counterparty monitoring and management functionality in this. So what we wanted to do is really having both the compliance function tied to the payments function, which is why we then had the 2 solutions speak to one another, among others through a transaction case management module. So really, this actually came from the request from some of our clients using both tools, to having the possibility to perform checks on a transaction. So typically an investment being made, and therefore then again tie this dimension of the payment with the compliance dimension to one another. So very rapidly, in a couple of minutes, those are the latest functionalities here that we have in place and the use cases that we have had for those two solutions.
But you can also use links for just as a connectivity to your banks using the SWIFT connectivity, but because you are a PSF, so you don't have all the constraint of being a SWIFT user. So we use your SWIFT big code.
Yeah, exactly. So really, we are taking case in this context, in this specific product of basically the whole banking connectivity. So we are a SWIFT-regulated entity in that sense. So we connect via SWIFT with various financial institutions, but not only, it's basically based on the favored method of the banking institution that we connect to them, and we take care of this banking connectivity and then give the tool to our client to basically have aggregated position of their various assets, may they be cash accounts or securities within this solution, and then on top having the payment workflow manager, mainly for risk management purposes, because we initially had this conversation that were triggered for, among others, sometimes fraud cases, which took place because, again, similarly to the KYC side, a lot of the process were taking place on a paper basis, which resulted sometimes in inefficiencies and certain risks, which might have resulted in, various fraud cases.
Yeah. No, thanks a lot. I think that it was really great to be able in a short period of time just to give us an overview. It's good to see that we have some dynamic and innovative fintech in Luxembourg. So thanks a lot for this presentation. I do propose, because it's really late and so we are really running out of time, to close this session and to invite you for the cocktail, walking dinner and drinks. You deserved it in the next room, so you need to go on the -1, so 1 floor up, via the elevator or via the stairway. So thanks a lot, and see you to the next conference in July.